Hello, World of Warships world. It's I, the guy who's been on vacation for the last 3 weeks. And of course, the first thing I'm going to do upon my glorious return is have a look at a replay of a submarine game, because why wouldn't I? Yeah, Abulia kindly provided this replay of him playing this S189. You saw in the beginning there was a little video because I am running this on an old game client and the settings are not quite what I would want them to be. Also my mods are slightly different from what I want them to be. So this is the free camera. This is Abulia's point of view, which makes me think he's probably using different settings for field of view or something. I don't know. I don't know how this works. And speaking of not knowing how this works, I'm also not so sure about submarine mechanics, obviously. I haven't really played them. This here, since it's S189, I presume this is a Russian submarine. Would make sense, right? The voiceless S, letter C in Cyrillic. Yeah, so we don't have a carrier, sadly. We all love them, but at least we have 2 submarines per team, so that's nice. Only 1 DD per team. Slight mismatch, just a slight mismatch. Irland versus Akizuki. The enemy team have 2 radars. This team has a Kutuzov and a JB, which is nice, I guess. And the enemy team have a Lenin, okay. So this game, I don't think Abulia is gonna hate me if I say that he's not a professional submarine player, but this game will serve us as an example what a player with a good grasp on the game mechanics in general and a lot of experience can do with submarines, even if he's not an expert submarine player per se. You see Abulia has switched to the straight lining torps and launched them this direction preemptively. Of course, the straight lining ones here have a 12.3 km range. They are 74 knots and deal 14.3 k damage, as opposed to the homing ones, which have lower range, lower speed, and much lower damage. Abulia hits the Zeton with one of his pre-launched torps. Zeton instantly repairs because he was on fire and he was flooding. And the Zeton and the Amagi both decide, nope, not gonna have that. We're just gonna turn around and run. There's an Akizuki here. That's potentially dangerous. Friendly sub is in the A cap, being reset, apparently. These guys are running away. The Soyuz is pushing in. Okay, okay. And the submarine here just dies. Yeah, so that's not unusual. Submarine players are mostly new and or bad players. At least that's what I feel like. And I'm not sure about the balancing. Okay, a Buffalo briefly radaring Abulia here, but he submerges to periscope depth, and the Buffalo cannot aim, so yeah. Yeah, as I was saying, not sure about the balancing. We know that wargaming have this idea that if a class is not played as much as they would expect it to be played, they will change the class and kind of balance around that. Of course, still not wanting to absolutely fuck over the balance and make something completely fucking overpowered. But yeah, the number of games played in a certain class of ships is a factor for wargaming. Okay, the submarine also just suicided. I'm not sure why the Irland is even charging into an Akizuki and a submarine, but okay, I guess he got the submarine killed, so there's that. Akizuki also taking a beating, but the Irland's probably gonna die here. Not looking great, not looking great. Akizuki took a torp. Sadly, it's just an Öland torp, so it's just gonna tickle him a bit. And the Öland dies. Okay, great, great. Yeah, so as I was saying with the balancing, if mostly bad and or new players are playing submarines, Wargaming may be happy with the number of games played, but not necessarily with the performance. Cool, the Kutuzov died as well. Because new and or bad players, they will not be able to perform properly. Abulia, of course, is neither bad nor new, so but he's not a submarine player. So still, we will see what a decent player can do with submarines. And of course, so it's different. It's difficult for wargaming to balance it properly, right? Because most of the performance data is coming from shitters. Sorry, but it is what it is. And then in the hands of a good player, it's gonna be so fucking broken. I'm not sure why this Akizuki got spotted there, but all right. That was unnecessary. He just suicided. Sub, fuck your mother, says the dead JB. So presumably the other submarine is somewhere around here because he just killed the JB, or helped kill the JB. The Tirpitz and the Bismarck charging through the A-cap merrily into their death, I would guess. The Tirpitz is from Clan Peanut. It's penguins with nuts, if I'm not mistaken. They have some decent players. He doesn't seem to be one of them, considering he's charging into this. But maybe he's too scared of the submarine that's somewhere around here, and he just presses W to escape the submarine. I don't know. He's definitely gonna die. And they're never gonna cap the A-cap with an Amalfi here and these two ships, two battleships and the Seattle. Abulia is doing his thing. He's just driving circles in the C-cap. I guess that's what you do. He's doing area denial. You can see these ships are all sitting back here, too scared to do anything really. There's just a Vladi here. Like, why is the NC not just charging at the Vladi and ramming him? Or this Amagi, or Seatonator Torp, very nice. Nothing can stop him. Well, of course there's a submarine here, but still. And the Tirpitz dies. Good job. And the submarine is here. Okay, in the Ibuki's face. Full HP Italian Vladivostok. Maybe he can kill the Amalfi. Let's hope the Ibuki can kill the submarine. Would be nice if the submarine was dead. And still, those 5 ships are locked down here because they're too scared of this area denial thing. Abulia just switched to homing torps and he pinged. Probably trying to hit the Buffalo here once the Buffalo comes around the corner. Pinging, of course, gives away your location, and then everyone and their mom will be dropping depth charges by plane. Okay, the submarine dies, very good. The Bismarck, the Amalfi dies, also very good. The Lenin Lepanto ran all the way here, the Seattle is running. The Bismarck is now reversing back into the A-cap. Yeah, but now that the Amalfi is dead, Abulia can take the B-cap, it's free. He still has the C-cap, of course. Looks like the Amagi is finally growing a pair. Charging the Vladi, of course, now it's dangerous because the Duncan will have his broadside. But there's also a Tseton here. The Tseton could just rush the Vladi and torp and or ram it, I guess. And that would open up this entire side. Like, there's nothing here. And those 5 ships are all locked down there. They should know that it's Abulia taking the B-cap, so they should know there's nothing in the C-cap, so they should know that it's safe, but you never know, right? This Polish, presumably, ORP. Seattle is farming the Bismarck to death. That Amagi took a hit. And the Bismarck is just gonna die there, and there's no way for him to survive that. Seattle is spotting him. Lenin can shoot him, Lepanto can shoot him. Requesting support. Dude. Zayn 720. Who do you think can support you there and how? You're all alone against 3 ships. Closest ship we have is an Ibuki. How? How? And he just dies. What an idiot. The Vladi seems to be going down. The Amagi decided, no, I'm not gonna go for the Vladi, probably because he got smacked by the Duncan. I would assume so. So he's now in Abulia's sea cap, and of course that doesn't sit well with Abulia. It's his sea cap. He's been driving circles there for the longest time. He's not just gonna give it up. Not sure what the Soyuz is doing. Why is he coming out broadside to the Vladi? Okay, the NC killed the Vladi. Dude, what the fuck? So, 5 ships down here. At this point, the enemy team have a decent ship and point advantage. This Amagi here weaving, scared to death because he knows there's a submarine in his face. And he cannot see the submarine, which is sitting at periscope depth, 2.2 km away from him. And Abulia has to submerge here because he got proxy spotted at 2 km. There should be depth charge planes coming in, but I'm not sure if there's maybe a minimum range or something. And then the Amagi cannot drop them or something. But yeah, you know what's gonna happen here. Abulia is gonna do the submarine thing of surfacing next to someone and shotgunning them to death, because that's fun. He did. Did the Seaton shoot Abulia? No, he shot the Duncan, probably. Someone was paying attention though. Some depth charges, not a lot of damage. And the Buffalo paid attention. More depth charges. But of course the Buffalo can't aim. I think we established that earlier in the game when he radared Abulia and then shot some fish. Boop and Dokon is dead. Ibuki is also dead because he tried to take a cap against Lenin and Lepanto. Probably not a good idea. Rowan, not in great shape, but there's the Italian Vladivostok. So we're gonna hinge all our hopes on him, and Rowan is dead. Soyuz is running his fighter plane, probably to spot Abulia over this island. Smart guy. Enemy team's gonna take the A cap for free. The Vladi is sitting in the B cap. Still hasn't taken a lot of damage, but now the Soyuz has got his broadside. Nobody knows what the Buffalo is doing. The Buffalo should be straight charging into the C cap, but he's not for some reason. I don't know, I haven't checked his stats, but he just seems to be a very, very bad player. At least the Soyuz was paying attention and dropped some depth charges on Abulia, who loses about a third of his HP. But the Soyuz dies and the C cap is still Abulia's, and he can go back to driving circles in the C cap.
Problem solved, sir.
It is what submarine players do, right? Area denial. Like the entire game, the enemy team had congregated there and just stayed there and was too scared to do anything. And then one by one they came forward and died. Not sure what the Zetan is doing. He should be going this way around. They should sandwich the Vladi, and the Lepanto and the Lenin would be shooting his broadside, the Zieten would be on this side launching torps. Well, the Zieten would die, of course, because he's low HP, but still. And the Buffalo is here, and the Buffalo, of course, radars instantly, because why wouldn't he? The Buffalo also shooting, and oof, that hurt. So the Buffalo can aim just a little, and the Buffalo is also launching depth charge planes. Bloody kills the Zieten. This Buffalo, holy shit, he missed all his depth charges. What a player. Yeah, so this Bloody somehow managed to survive pushing up there. But the Lepanto and the Lenin will rebalance him momentarily. The full HP Buffalo turns into a not full HP Buffalo. Straight landing barbs, of course, they hit hard. And Abulia is doing well not to ping here, so as to not reveal his positioning. He has to submerge here to get out of the hydro, but the Buffalo still maybe he's finally gonna get a good drop on Abulia with depth charges. Oh, yes. But Abulia, having run out of a DCP, is of course running Kuznetsov, because why wouldn't he? So Kuznetsov repaired all floodings or whatever there may have been, or oil spills, and he's also getting a nice little heal, so all's well. The Buffalo, no idea, like, this is so bad. Like, he was sat here for the longest time. He could have just charged the C-cap. He was scared. He could still be charging the C-cap. He's not. He's going this way for some reason. Insanely bad play. I don't know. Not to mention that he's been missing most of his drops and most of his shots all game. He was still full HP like a minute ago, and now he's almost dead, and he hasn't accomplished anything, I think. Abulia trying to catch the Buffalo here. And his dive juice is recharging now, which is dearly necessary. And there's the Buffalo. So if the Buffalo had radar now, he could radar Abulia, but he probably doesn't yet, because he used it when he came around this island. Don't ask me how spotting mechanics work. Abulia is at periscope depth, so he has 2 km detection range. Does it have to do with, I don't know, with this ship's whatever detection, so that Abulia can spot him, but the guy cannot spot Abulia back. Abulia is running critically low on dive juice. Boop. Battery depleted. Or is Kuznetsov speaking English? You will never know. Buffalo dropping his depth charges, hoping for a hit. Dying, which is fortunate for Abulia, because the Buffalo was well within Abulia's spotting range, and he would have killed him here, of course, or those two would have. But the C-cap is still very much in Abulia's control. The enemy team will gain 36 points on him per minute, because he still has control of the C-cap, and 1 cap is going to give him, the enemy team, 36 points per minute. Now the enemy team is going to gain 72 points per minute, and the game is approximately a minute long. The enemy team, of course, know Abulia is still in the cap, because the cap is contested. Abulia got spotted there very briefly. The Lenin is paying attention. The Lepanto is not, but the Lenin has very low depth charge range. I'm not sure. Is it 5 km, something like that? The Lepanto could have dropped depth charges by plane. Maybe even the Seattle. I'm not sure about the Seattle's range, but he's about 10 kilometers away. And I'm pretty sure he has depth charge planes, but it's on the Lepanto here. When Abulia got spotted there for a second, the Lepanto should have dropped depth charges. Now the Lenin is at 5.4, 5.5. If the Lenin had just kept going there, he would have killed Abulia, because Abulia does have to surface here. There were some Seattle depth charge planes, I believe. But yeah, Abulia is just gonna run away and win this on points. Oh, so many misplays this game by the enemy team. And you see what a competent player can do with a submarine without being a submarine main or anything like that. It's just he's got a general understanding of the game mechanics, and this is what he can do, what he can pull off. I'm not sure about the base XP modifier, if it was the same last patch as it is this patch, and if the submarines have this crazy base XP modifier, but you can see Abulia has 2.8k base XP, which fully deserved, and of course a solo warrior achievement. Yeah, so that's all for today. I'm going to link you Abulia's clip somewhere in the video description or something, and I hope you enjoyed this wonderful submarine gameplay. I mean, why wouldn't you? Wargaming has worked hard for the past 3 or so years. Is that an exaggeration? I'm not sure. On getting this wonderful class into the game. Submarines are finally here. They're here to stay, and you're gonna enjoy it. Torping and pinging is gonna continue until morale improves.